Dr. Vinila with us, and I have known Vinila for a very long time, and she's a dear friend also. Welcome, Dr. Vinila.
Thank you. I am so happy to be this.
Yeah, the reason why we have Dr. Vinila on the show is because she is very well known for her fitness. At the same time, her nutrition plans really well for day-to-day living, and she balances off how to deal with the parties, weekend trends, and everything. So we wanted to kind of get basic idea about how to take care of our meals in day-to-day living. So let's start our first question. So how do you personally balance healthy meals with a busy family life? So that's what I'm interested in.
Yeah, so long and a hard question there because every family's needs are different, right? So with the social media, currently on Instagram or Facebook or YouTube, there are so many healthy recipes. So again, figure out what fits for your family. Like for me, I make sure we have a salad to begin a meal with. Even if it's just cut cucumbers and carrots with some lemon juice, salt, and pepper, that gives you some veggies and fiber. But when you have it on the table, they tend to pick it up. So I have a salad, then followed by I make rice. I'm a South Indian, so I make curries. There is sambar and everything else. But I make sure there is some kind of protein. So chicken or goat meat, even eggs, just boiled eggs tend to meet that protein goal. And make sure you have some yogurt, which also adds some protein as well for your needs. So there you go. But for breakfast, the kids start really early, right? So it's hard to meet all these protein requirements and everything early in the morning. So figure out what works. And I tend to not limit anything because the minute you tell your kids not to eat something, they absolutely want to eat or want that one thing. So just make sure um, to kind of balance off what's happening with what your kids need and what your need is. Also, the one thing that I tend to do is meal prep. So not involve the kids so they are excited about the meal they are making.
Busy life, right? And
Mhm.
parents usually they barely have time to make like a lot of foods. So what do you do for quick meal preps?
Yeah, so marinate some meats, marinate some tofu, keep it in the fridge, which is very useful. Chopped onions come in handy anytime. Boiled eggs, if you have them in the fridge, they are right there. And then I tend to also chop my greens like if I have some kale and stuff like that, they're already half prepped. I just don't make the full salad. They're just sitting in the fridge, cut and ready to be made.
What do you do when you go for shopping? Some quick things. Say you've had like a busy day, you come home and then it's dinner time. Is there anything in stores like Trader Joe's or anything you pick which is
Yes,
just do it right then and there?
yes. So some options that I have found that are useful are Trader Joe's has already baked tofu, have some cooked chicken options that are really great protein sources, or they have tempeh, but tempeh doesn't taste very good. You have to kind of add some more seasonings to make it more palatable. But they do have some salads. Um, the cooked chicken option is really good. The baked sriracha tofu is really good. And pasta section, they have like a multi-grain khichdi. It meets a lot of nutritional requirements, especially it's just heat and eat kind of a meal. But if you add like a boiled egg or some baked tofu and or some just grilled chicken, it is a full source of a meal. So that's my go-to when I absolutely just come back from a trip and I'm in like no mood to make a
Right.
full-blown meal.
It's better than eating something really
Yes,
like
yes,
unhealthy, like a
yes,
burger or something like that.
yeah.
Okay. All right. And how do you manage the weekend parties?
Yeah, so I am a very social butterfly. So all Friday, Saturday, Sunday, with between kids and my friends, we usually tend to go out quite a bit. So the one thing that really helped me was for a month, I kind of weighed what all I ate. It wasn't sustainable for more than a month because people think you're crazy. And I think I was crazy doing that even for a month. But what that absolutely helped me do is kind of eyeball how much I am eating. So I know how much a cup of rice is with my eyes. So I know when I'm outside, I tend to gauge how much I'm eating. And then I tend to eat more appetizers, which are usually meat based or like cauliflower Manchuria and things like that. So I tend to go for the protein first. And if they have salads and stuff like that, I tend to eat a little bit more of that and definitely make sure I eat some yogurt and decrease the biryani. I mean, I'm a biryani lover, so I do eat, but in a very lesser portion. And when you're eating your salad and kind of, even though they are deep fried chicken, it still, I'm sure, has some protein. So you tend to um, fill up your tummy with those things. So by the time you can get to the biryani, it's less. And then when I go out to eat, I tend to pick things that have more vegetables or have like some chicken appetizer for the kids or something like that. I absolutely love pizza. So I just tend to eat one slice versus not eating because I do not want my family dinner to be like, oh, Amma doesn't eat anything, or my husband feeling sad that he took me to a place where it's carb heavy or something like that. That's the last thing I want to do. So I eat everything in moderation. I love ice creams. So we do go out for ice creams, especially during summer times. But it's like we tend to get a cup and all four of us share. So it's a very family friendly thing to do. Everyone is getting their share of happiness. At the same time, it's not heavy on calories or sugar.
That's good to know. And often when you mention 1 cup of rice, it's we underestimate how much we eat because
Yes.
when you actually measure that 1 cup of rice, it is kind of, it turns out to be a very little rice, but it has a lot of calories. But like you said, we cannot measure every time, so it's good to have that idea, especially when you go to parties. And do you indulge in food like and sometimes?
Yes, absolutely. I'm a very big foodie. I tend to experiment with a lot of recipes. Like I mentioned, I absolutely love biryani. When I make biryani at home, I tend to add more meat or more veggies um, versus the rice. I know the kids are not that way yet, and I don't expect them to be where I am already, given they're just 11 and 8. But again, it's like I tend to eat more meat slash veggies with my rice versus previously I used to eat more rice and less meat and veggies, but now I tend to flip it to meet my requirements. And also, the one thing that we totally underestimate is fiber. A lot of people, when I see all these Instagram and Facebook and YouTube on these healthy eating, there is no mention of fiber. They focus so much on carbs and proteins, and fiber is lost in most of them. But fiber tends to keep you fuller. So eating more veggies and fruits along with the indulging meal that you're having gives you that satisfaction of, oh my God, I ate biryani like to my heart's content because I am eating a salad rich in fiber and I'm also eating some fruit prior to indulging in biryani. So you're pretty full before you totally indulge and totally screw up your day with like high carb meals.
Yeah. And how do you inculcate healthy eating habits in children without overwhelming them?
That's a very tough thing to do because, our kids go to school. They are surrounded by all these sugary treats, all these chips, all these unhealthy things that it's really bad for them. But you cannot cut them off. It's not like you cannot be a cold turkey, right? So it was, I found out this, one of my friend told me about this app called Yuka, Yuka. You all should try it someday. So whenever I take the kids to the grocery shop, I make them scan all the snacks that they want to buy. And as they scored less than 50, the kids by themselves said, "This is not healthy. We don't want it." So I stopped. I mean, I wouldn't say I stopped buying processed snacks. Even when we go on trips and stuff like that, we do not have an option. We just need those processed snacks. But the one thing that truly shifted for my family is I cut fruit. I wash the fruit, whatever fruits are there. I tend to buy more seasonal fruits, cut them, wash them, leave them on the kitchen counter, which is very accessible for the kids, for my husband, for myself. Leave some nuts on the counter too. So before they open the fridge or before they open the pantry, they see some food. So it's kind of easy for them to like snack on that. And still, if they feel hungry, they'll come ask me, can we get some snack? And our snacks have been guacamole. Again, I'm saying that since my kids are growing up. They love making guac by themselves. All they need help is scooping out the avocados. And they love making salsa. So if I make a salsa, it's there for 2 days. They love making, like, in Costco, we get the small pita breads. So on that, they add some pizza sauce and cheese and they make their own snack. So they feel like they are preparing their snack too along with me. It doesn't take more than 20 minutes to make those snacks. I'm sure nutritionally they're some of them are not as good as the others, but again they are kids. We need to expose them to different foods and different kinds of vegetables and fruits. If not, they will never know what those are.
Right. The other question is basically like, do you have protein shakes?
No, I personally, my body never got adjusted to the protein shakes. So I tend to not do it again because I tend to gauge my protein content. I eat meat, so it has never been a problem for me to hit my 50 to 60 grams of protein goal every day. But I did try protein shakes, but I used to feel so full, so bloated. They were just not for me. But I heard better ones now than what we had 8 years ago when I tried, but I have never been there yet.
Right.
A couple of things that everyone has to keep in mind is there is a lot of these intermittent fasting, one meal a day, and all these things going around. And then sometimes people say a full egg is better. Sometimes they say, no, it has too many calories. If you want to lose weight, you have to eat only egg whites, so on and so forth. But my suggestion is your body tends to tell you what is appropriate for you. There is a lot of information out there. Uh, do not take all that in. Figure out what works for your body, where you are in your fitness journey, how many calories are you burning, what is your goal? Are you planning to maintain your weight? Are you trying to lose your weight? Are you trying to gain your muscle? Everything depends on what your ultimate goal is. And you just have to figure those pieces out for your family and for yourself and how to make it happen. It's again not easy, but it's simple. We are unnecessarily complicating things.
Right. Anything else like that, in your mind you can think of to make day-to-day living easier for moms?
Again, it's again depends on what your needs are. get the gadgets. For me, the gadgets help. I use air fryer a lot. I use Instant Pot a lot. It cuts down so much of my cooking time, especially if I'm making dal or chana, or making quick chicken or quick cauliflower or something like that. Don't feel shy to experiment with your recipes. There are so many out there. So just figure out, if you're busy, try to figure out what helps. Having eggs always is a good option. Having boiled, sometimes I boil the soya and freeze it. So you have it right there to make a curry, or just toss them in the air fryer with like salt and pepper and some Indian spices, and you have some really crispy soya chunks. So again, like, figure out what exactly you are, where exactly you are, and then get those groceries, have them handy, prep it, freeze it, put it in the fridge, and then it's straightforward. For melon juice. And then I added basil seeds to like up my fiber content. Or like, our squashes have a lot of fiber. So how do I make them palatable so we can all eat? So butternut squash is a good soup recipe. Butternut squash soup, or like just air fried butternut squash in a salad, kind of tends to increase the fiber. So very simple things like that can increase your fiber intake. And very simple things like, if you have cooked chicken, adding them into a salad can increase your protein content. You don't have to cook everything separately to eat them. Trying to toss everything together into a meal is the key, is what I figured for my family needs.
Right, right. So these are like really valuable ideas. Hopefully, we can connect more on the recipes. We
Yes,
know you're a very good cook. So we'll hopefully get more recipes from you. Thank you so much for your time.
absolutely. Yes,
Yep.
thank you.
Yep.